Spontaneous speaking video 103. Alright, what's up everyone? If you don't know me, my name is Denzel Mensah. I'm a personal development coach, and today I'm giving y'all a spontaneous speaking video, which is essentially where I speak extemporaneously about a concept, thought, idea, whatever that's come to my mind. And today's thought or idea that I'm thinking about is the idea of molting your skin. So essentially, the metaphor or analogy behind that is this idea of growing from who you are. Now, obviously, a snake that molts its skin is still a snake, so you're not a completely, totally different person. Even a caterpillar that goes into a cocoon and then comes out as a butterfly, it's a different form of the creature, and it even liquefies, which I learned recently, but it's still the same caterpillar in its mind. In a way, it's still the same being. It's just that there's now been enough of a change for it to have evolved from what it was before. So there's still a level of change while also keeping a base level of what makes the caterpillar that it was internally, if that makes sense. So bringing that to a more scaled down sense, when it comes to us as human beings, something that I've always really detested is this idea of holding people to the mistakes and accidents that they've done. And for people who are watching, a lot of us might immediately now start thinking about the times that other people have done that to you, which is totally fair. But I really like to encourage us in my videos to look at ourselves before we look at other people, if we look at other people at all. So throughout this video, I want you to reflect on times that maybe you have held other people to a skin that they've already shed off. Just yesterday, I was on a coaching call with one of my clients who had a partner that back in December, right now it is July. So back in December, this client of mine, he had done something that wasn't even bad per se, but it was something that was skeptical enough to kind of seed a little bit of distrust in his partner, and it was a very complex situation. But like I said, it wasn't something that this client did. The client did not do something bad in and of itself. It just could have been an appearance of bad, or it could have probably led to something bad. And like I said, it's an intricate situation. But long story short, the client, my client's partner, held my client as my client, after they had already talked about that whole issue and everything, and the client is now trying to he's accepted what he's done wrong, and he's trying to move forward with that and all of that. He is being reminded still to this day of, well, you did that thing back in December. You did that thing back in December. And eventually this led to their breakup. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to grow past a mistake that you've made, why would you stick around people who are still trying to, if you're trying to shed off some skin, that's no longer you. That doesn't fit the new and evolved you that you are now. Why would you want to continue to be around people or a person who's continuing to hold you to that, who's continuing to continue to view you in a manner that is no longer you, and some may say oh, well, it was only, a few months ago. But the thing is, if you're constantly being reminded of something that you're trying to grow past from, and it's not even a reminder in a sense of accountability, but a reminder being thrown into your face, then how are you ever really supposed to grow from it? In a way, you're kind of being told that you're unable to. This is innate. This is a part of your character, and that you will forever be held to this. which anybody who really has a personal development mindset is going to try to evolve from and succeed from. So, yeah, when I heard about this, like it just reminded me of like many different, again, like times where I've like heard, that's not the first time that I've heard such a story, and I think that it's really sad that we see this happen, because there's a lot of people in the world who they make mistakes and then they really try to grow and become better from it, but then all that we do is we look at them and we're still like, no, but you did that thing a few years ago, or you did that thing a few months ago, you did that thing, or I allegedly heard that you did that thing. And it's like, dang, man, like I'm trying to grow past that, like if anything, yes, I did that, and that was the pivotal moment that made me be like, nah, I need to change. But you keep on throwing this back in my face. It's like you want me to be that person again. You want me to go and pick up that skin and become that person again so that I can fit the narrative that you have. I think that it's understandable for us as humans to have a hard time with trusting people. A lot of us have dealt with certain traumas. A lot of us have dealt with fool me one time, shame on you, but fool me twice, I can't put the blame on you. Like stuff like that, we don't want to be deceived again. But I think that we really need to be careful when we are holding someone to a prison that now we have created for them. Because now what you're doing is you've confined them in an area to where no matter what, even if they become the most role model-esque type of person, and I know that's probably not a word, but that's why it's spontaneous, extemporaneously spoken. But if they become someone who's very upstanding, because of the mindset that you have of them, then you're gonna have this confirmation bias of, no, what I'm seeing right now of this person, that's not really who they are. Because I know that what you really are is ABC, because that's what you showed me last year, or that because that's what you were a few years ago when you did this to me, or stuff like that. And it's like, I can see right through your act, and that type of stuff. If you are one of those people, I really caution you to look into yourself. And first of all, think about it, about what you're doing and how you're literally trying to pull that person into fitting the narrative so that it can, because you cannot make sense of a changed human being. That's pretty much what it's coming down to. Not everyone changes. That's why I think that kind of mindset is understandable to an extent, but we have to be very careful with it, because people do grow. People do molt their skin. There are good people out there who are constantly looking at, okay, what are the ways that I've messed up, and how can I learn from that so that I don't make those mistakes again. So they already are aware of the skin that they've molted. They probably didn't just leave it on the floor somewhere and let the wind carry it. They probably have, the skin in a jar somewhere, metaphorically speaking. And they're reminded of that all the time. They're like, yeah. So they don't need you trying to humble them, because they have enough of a hard time loving themselves or forgiving themselves of what they did. So I think that when it comes to people, when it comes to these types of situations, we have to be very delicate. We have to be a lot more careful. We have to allow people the room to grow. Allow people the room to grow. That's the biggest message that I have. Allow people the room to be able to molt their skin, to become the person that they're aiming to be, to become better and ameliorate a little bit more every day. Because you never know. That incident that you remember really might have been the last time that you ever knew that person. Ever since that time, even though you were stuck in time, that because that was the last time that you stopped deciding to see them for who they actually are, but you started to see them for who you kind of want them to be to fit that narrative in your mind. Now that person has evolved. That person has grown to become something very different and is continuing to drift away from that person that you know. Because of that learning experience, that was a pivotal experience for them. That catapulted them forward. But because you're still watching and keeping that old version of them, you're still looking at the molten skin. You're not seeing how far they've already drifted away from it. And you can't make sense of that. Be careful of falling into that narrative. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's a form of confirmation bias, which I have made videos about if you would like to go and check those out as well. But in essence, that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. Let people shed their skin. Do well, ensure being skeptical and cautious, but don't put people into a prison that you've created for them that'll then not even allow them to become a better person. If you want to continue to watch them, cool. If you're skeptical, cool. But don't watch them with the confirmation bias like, yeah, I'm just waiting for you to mess up so that you can prove to me once again that you are not any better than you were before. While we're trying to climb up, we all still fall. And try to give other people the type of grace that you would like other people to give you. So what are your comments? Questions? Concerns? Let me know what you think in the comment box below. If you would like coaching from me, I have my own website now, denzelmensah.com. I'm very proud of it. Be sure to check that out, and you can book sessions with me, whether it be a coaching session or a profiling session. All of my services, you can find them over there. But yeah, leave me a like if you want, a comment if you haven't subscribed but you like what you see, subscribe, and done.